Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to another MediaTek Labs LinkIt tutorial. If you're interested in more tutorials and technical content, please register at labs.mediatek.com. In this video, we will show you a quick introduction into the LinkIt Connect 7681 hardware development kit, plus how to develop your own software for the LinkIt 7681. First of all, we'll have a look at the board. It's quite a small one, and it has 5 GPIOs and it's a Wi-Fi SoC. So it has its own operating system running on it, and you can control the GPIOs. You can connect to a web server through TCP/IP. You also could control the UART port. So there's quite a lot of flexibility. So first, I will show you how to set up your development environment on your PC. For that, we will plug in the board, so we'll be able to update it with our own created software. So the first tool we will download is the Cygwin for compiling our own firmware. So we'll go to cygwin.com/install HTML, and we'll download the correct file. So it's setup x86.exe. So we'll download that file and we'll execute it straight away. So it's the normal setup wizard. So we'll say like we will install it from internet, so you need an internet connection. The root directory, I recommend to leave it as it is and install it for all users. The download folder is correct as well. We have a direct connection through the Wi-Fi locally here. And so now we have to choose a download mirror. So I used to choose the Cygwin mirror constant. Seems to be pretty good and pretty fast. So it's downloading now all the necessary files, but then we also have to add some packages which we will need. The first one is the GCC core, which is under devel. So we'll just choose to install that as well by clicking this button here. And the other thing is we need the make package, which is also located on the devel. So we'll have to scroll down a little bit. So there we go, is the make. And we click next to confirm. And you also have to install all dependencies. So please make sure you tick this box and click next. Now it will download all the necessary packages and will install it locally to your PC. In the meantime, we can go to labs.mediatek.com and we will go to Developer Tools and Resources, LinkIt Connect 7681 and SDK Intro. There we will find 2 other very useful downloads. First of all, the SDK for Windows. So we're going to download this. And then the other one is the Developer's Guide. In this PDF, you will find everything you need to set up your environment and also some very easy to use projects you can reproduce on your PC. So we'll go back to our Cygwin installation. Now Cygwin setup is complete. We can click Finish, and hopefully the download of the SDK has completed as well. Yes, it has. So we can do the next step, which is unpacking the SDK. Best thing is to unpack it straight into your C drive. So we go to C and just drag the folder into the C directory. So now we see it here, so the SDK is installed. The next thing we need to do is to unpack the toolchain, the Andes toolchain for the Cygwin. So we go into toolchain and we open this zip file. And so this folder has to be unpacked into the Cygwin folder. So we will drag it over nicely into the Cygwin root directory. This has completed as well. And the next step is we have to check if there are two files which have to be configured correctly so that it links to the correct path on your installation. So one is in this very folder we just unpacked. So we double click and we right click on this Cygwin and this bat, and we want to edit this file. And we want to double check if the toolchain path is correct. So we use edit. So here we see this has to be the path where we installed it. This is incorrect at the moment, so it's Cygwin 64. So we will get rid of the 64 everywhere. So this has to be the path to your Cygwin installation. So we get rid of all these 64s and we save it. So that's one of the files we had to check. So the next thing we have to do is to check a file in the LinkIt Connect SDK. So we open the SDK folder, we go into SRC, Mac, MT7681, and we have to double check the compiler.mk file. We open that file in Eclipse, which is a IDE which you can use for programming Java, C++, different languages. So we will use it now to double check this file. So we open the compiler MK and we have to check this toolchain variable. So as you can see, it's set to Cig drive C. So this is our C directory, and then it's Cygwin and then the folder we just copied over. So this is all set correctly. So we can close that. Eclipse, close it down. And so this is now the installation process finished. From now on, you don't have to repeat those steps. We're now going to develop our very first project. How do we do our own project? Well, how it works is you get the full source code of the firmware for this very board. So we'll take the full source code, change bits in that source code, compile it, and then flash this firmware, this compiled firmware, to the board. So first of all, we need to get the source code. You will find the source code in our LinkIt Connect SDK. So you take the whole SRC folder and you copy it to a convenient place. So I created the LinkIt Connect 7681 projects folder. I recommend to do the same very close to the C drive. And we copy the whole SRC folder into that folder and rename it into the project name. So first project. So now we can start customizing the source code. And we do that by going into the first project and then custom IoT custom C. And again, we will use Eclipse to change this file. There are various different files where you can change various different things. So this file, this function we will edit, will be called endlessly once the board is up and running. So what we want to achieve is to make the GPIO2 blink every other second. So it's a very, very simple demonstration. So first we have to find the right function, which is called IoT custom function. So custom subtask 1. So this task will be executed endlessly once the board is up and running. So what code are we going to use? For that, we will go to our developer's guide, which we downloaded earlier. And in here, you have your first project on the point 2.4. And you will find a very short code which will make the GPIO2 blink every second. So we take that code, we copy it, and we put it into the IoT custom subtask 1. We save that file and then we close it again. So now all the development is done. What we have to do now is to compile the whole source code to create a new firmware which we then can upload to the board. To do that, we open our Cygwin, and we do that by going into the folder we copied over and double-click Cygwin and despot. This will open a command line prompt where we then can enter the commands. So we have to go to our project. So we go to C first, and then we will find our project we just created. So that's the LinkIt Connect projects, right? There you go. We go in there and we open our first project. To compile it, we simply type make clean to clean the whole project, semicolon, make. This will now compile the whole source code, including the little change we made, and will output us the firmware which we then can upload to the board with the uploader tool. The output will be saved in a folder out/SDA/ and then the file name is mt7681 header SDA header.bin. We will see that shortly. There you go. It's compiled successfully, and as you can see, it's in the out SDA mt7681 SDA.bin, the header. Right, so how do we upload it now to the board? We will use the uploader tool, and we have to use that in the command prompt. So we started by typing CMD into the start button. And then we will go to our SDK. So that's LinkIt Connect 7681 SDK. And there's a folder called Uploader. There you go. And then we have the MT7681 uploader executable. So with this tool, we are able to flash a new firmware onto the board. Make sure the board is reset and ready to receive the update. Then type in MT7681 uploader exe. Use -F to specify the file you want to upload. So in this case, we use the file we just created on the LinkIt Connect projects, first project. And as I said, it's in the out STA folder, and it is called MT7681 STA header bin. The other parameter we have to configure is the COM port on which the board is connected to, and we specify that by -C. And we can find the COM port by opening our device manager and checking the ports. So we have ports here, we open it up, and we see USB 0 port COM38. So we can close that and then go back here. So -C COM38. We hit enter and the board will be set into recovery mode. The new firmware we just compiled will be pushed to the board, and once it's completed, the board will be reset and start up, and the new firmware is running on the board. Just takes a few seconds. As you can see now, the firmware is successfully uploaded. If we step over to the board, we see GPIO 2 is blinking away every second. So we compiled our own developed firmware successfully. We uploaded it, and now it's running on the board. If you're interested in watching more tutorials like this, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and register at labs.mediatek.com for more technical content and our active developer forum. Thanks for watching.